Hey, sixth grade. This video is for Monday, May 11th. Hope you guys had a good weekend and that you treated your moms really well on Mother's Day. I had a nice day with my family. We were actually able to head over the mountain to the beach for a little while, and it's always good for my heart to see the ocean. Today, we are starting our second to last spelling list. If you can believe it, we're on list 31. So go ahead and get started with the first page, which is page 122. We will have our spelling list for spelling test for list 31 on Friday. In writing and grammar, your assignment today is about compound sentences. Compound sentences could sound a little tricky at first, but really a compound sentence is simply when you take two or more simple sentences and you compound them, which just means you put them together. So, in your lesson on Thursday, you did compound subjects and compound predicates, and now we're just talking about how do you take two whole sentences and put them together. So let's do the first guided practice questions together so you can see that. I think you'll find this is really doable. Question number 1 gives two sentences. The Golden Gate Bridge contains 83,000 tons of steel. It can sway more than 20 feet from side to side. And your job then is to figure out either through punctuation like a comma or through the addition of other words like a compound conjunction or an article, how to put those two sentences together to create a meaningful sentence. So there's a couple of things you could do on this one. I think what I would do is to say the Golden Gate Bridge contains 83,000 tons of steel, comma, but it can sway more than 20 feet from side to side. Maybe you think that but is not the right word choice here. So another compound conjunction or coordinating conjunction that you could use would be and. The Golden Gate Bridge contains 83,000 tons of steel, comma, and it can sway more than 20 feet from side to side. So either of those would work, and you may come up with a different conjunction that could also fit here. Let's look at number 2, guided practice question. I'm on page 283, today's grammar lesson. On opening day, only pedestrians could cross the bridge. Over 32,000 vehicles drove across on the second day. So how would we take these two sentences, they're both pretty simple, and combine them to make one sentence? Well, one example could be, on opening day, comma, only pedestrians could cross the bridge, comma, but over 32,000 vehicles drove across on the second day, period. So here we've taken two different sentences and made one compound sentence. Now there's advantages and disadvantages to doing this in writing. Sometimes writing flows better when you have a couple of shorter, simpler sentences. But sometimes, either for clarity or brevity or for other reasons, it might be to your advantage as a writer to have all of the information contained in a longer sentence. So this is practice at compounding two simple ideas and putting them together. Remember that there's a variety of coordinating conjunctions and punctuation you might use, words like and, if, but, yet, still. So think about what would fit best as you're putting your sentences together. Today, when you get to your reading, you're going to read a brief essay about periodical literature. Now, periodical literature is about various kinds of magazines and journals that are published regularly to communicate new information. And sometimes periodical literature is very common for everyone. Maybe when you were a kid, you got Highlights magazine for kid, or maybe your parents get something like Time magazine that has news in it. There's also specialized periodical literature. My husband is a physics professor, and so he subscribes to various physics journals, which produce periodic publications about his field of study, which has to do with lasers. And lots of different fields do this, everything from education to human development and things in the medical field. And so, what you're going to look at today is what is periodical literature? How do people use it? And then, not only what will you find there, but when you're writing about what you find there, how will you tell people about what you found? So, you'll notice as you're reading, the portion that you're going to read starts on page 553. You'll notice when you get to page 557, they have a sample citation. I hope you'll see that there in the middle of your page about an article about do sports activities build character? And they kind of show you in this sample with this citation from periodical literature, which is the title, which is the author, which is telling us about illustrations or dates or the volume number. So you're going to want to know about that key on 557 because when you get to your work text today, you're going to have 2 pages to do. The first one is just going to ask you a little bit about what you've learned about periodical literature from your reading. But then the second page, that's page 217, page 218, they're going to give you another sample citation of a different piece of periodical literature, and you're going to have to figure out which is the title, who's the author, illustrator, the number, the volume, etc. So you can use that resource in your reading book to make sure you know how to complete the activity on page 218. I wish that we were going to be together because I would bring in some journals for you guys to look at and kind of get a sense of how these are done and how people use them. But in lieu of doing that, you can look at this today, and then maybe we'll have the opportunity to look at some of that stuff together. Hope you guys are doing really well. We're winding down. Next week is going to be our last week of school and then summer vacation. So hang in there. Keep working. Reach out if you have questions, and I'll be in touch. I'll look forward to seeing you guys on the Monday afternoon Zoom call at 1 o'clock. All right. Bye-bye.